If you are looking to be more confident, to feel more sure of yourself, to feel more comfortable in dating relationships with people that you're romantically interested in, these are the things that I would say will get you started. Like, this is your biggest head start. And then you just jump right in. You just like get in there. These are the things that I wish someone would have told me, because I had to learn all of it the hard way. It was a mess, okay? It was a mess. I used to be petrified of speaking to men. Petrified. Didn't matter if I was romantically interested in them or not. I was just so self-conscious, always worried about something about myself or how I was being perceived, that I just could not get out of my head. But now you get to learn from my mistakes. So hey, silver lining, okay? You know who you are. You don't have to be self-conscious. You don't have to worry. You can just enjoy the moment, trust your instincts, go with your gut, and like enjoy yourself, right? What's the point if it's not enjoyable? What's the point? Why are we doing it? Why are we dealing with people to stress? That's not the purpose. I swear that's not why they meant it. Hey boo, this is Nika and I am pleasantly unbothered. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. It has been far too long since we have had a chat like this, but since this topic has been so highly requested, I figured we just need to talk about it, okay? So we have already talked about how to love yourself more and different tips and tricks for dating as a plus size woman, or as any woman really, dating with low self-esteem or a low sense of self-worth, and how to develop those things so that you feel better and can do better, you know what I mean? And today we are talking specifically about being confident while dating, which I know a lot of us like may have struggled with, you know, or still be struggling with. So let's talk, let's do it. As always, if you enjoy this video, I would hope that you'd give it a thumbs up or leave a comment below letting me know what you think, whether or not you like it. I like to talk. Let's discuss. You know, you don't gotta agree with me, but let's discuss it, right? And also please consider subscribing for more videos like this and all the other things that we talk about around here, okay? Okay. So my first tip for being confident while dating has to do more with yourself, right? Ourselves, myself, yourself. My first tip would be to learn how to be yourself. And as cliche as that sounds, I know, I get it. It's just so necessary in order to be confident in any situation. You have to know that you can trust yourself, that you can trust your instincts, that you know who you are, that you know what you want and what you don't want. Know what you're willing to settle for and not settle for. Coming to terms with who you are as a person, the things that you like, the things you don't like, the things you can improve, and maybe the things that you're gonna have to learn to live with over time. You learn to trust your gut, to trust your instincts. So this is when you discover your personality, or you develop your personality. Decide who you wanna be. Make sure that it's something you like, someone you would like, and stand firm in that. You know, once you are able to make peace with yourself, make peace with your perceived flaws, whatever you think your flaws might be, and release yourself from judgment so that you're not constantly worried about those things. Girl, let me tell you, it's like you unlock the power, right? And believe me, that's a great place to be. So if you have not done that yet, that would be my first piece of advice. Learn who you are, discover what you want and what you don't want, what you'll stand for and what you won't stand for, what's acceptable and what's unacceptable, things like that. Really feel comfortable in knowing that you have permission to decide that for yourself. Not everyone's gonna like you, not everyone's gonna agree with your choices or with who you are, what you want, what you stand for, your values, etc. But as long as you feel comfortable with that and it's something that you've put work into to grow and to develop into, then be you, boo. Be you. And we have talked about this before in one of my videos about how I learned to love myself and kind of accept my body and different things that were hang-ups for me. So if you're interested in that, you can click and watch it there. But basically the idea is to become what you would consider to be a fully formed person. When it comes to dating, we're often told to find our other half and sometimes our better half and all this. It's like, I think it's very necessary that you be a whole person first, that you feel complete on your own, so that you are able to feel confident and to know yourself moving forward in any kind of dating relationship, or any relationship really. Like, this isn't just romantic relationships. Self-development helps across the board, period. My second tip would be for you to understand and recognize and remember, that's how important it is, will be for you to know that you are perfectly entitled to be selective in choosing your potential partners or your romantic interests or whatever the case may be. So don't let anybody tell you that you have to settle for a certain type of person or a certain type of situation or relationship status or non-status, you know? Of course, we all have things that we consider to be shortcomings or flaws. Those things might make us feel less worthy of what we want or less worthy of love, but we all also have assets and attributes that we bring to the table that someone would be lucky to have us for, you know? So why not focus on those instead? Focus on building up our positive attributes, even improving some of the negative ones if we want to, working on ourselves continually and getting better and better so that we realize how worthy we are of what we want. If you're willing to put all this work into yourself to be better for yourself and for a future partner, then why would you deserve anything less than that, right? Why would you deserve anything less than someone who would be willing to do the same for you? There's a meme out there that says something like, you deserve the same love that you're willing to give, or something like that. And it's so simple, but I don't know why more of us don't realize that and recognize that, because we often sell ourselves so short and we don't realize that we deserve more. So yes, be selective. You are entitled to. If you don't feel like you have permission, you have just been granted permission. Okay, let's do it. You go decide who you want. And on that note, you can also forget the idea that anyone is out of your league because of what they do for a living or how much money they make or what they look like or whatever the case is. You have things to offer just like they do, regardless of what they do or what they look like or whatever these other things are that we separate ourselves by. It all depends on chemistry and how you feel and what they offer and what you can offer, and etc., right? So stop worrying about somebody being in your league or thinking you don't deserve someone of a certain kind of stature or something, you know? He ain't no prince. Shoot. My third tip would be to take the pressure off of yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself and stop with these crazy high expectations of having every encounter with a guy be the one. Like,
oh my gosh, I met the one. We've been talking for 2 weeks and I'm in love.
Girl, slow down. Calm down, take a breath. Take the pressure off. Just because you like him and you guys have chemistry doesn't mean you have to be picturing yourself walking down the aisle to him. When the stakes are that high, where it's like,
what if I mess this up? What if he doesn't propose because of whatever? What if I end up alone? What if...
That's so stressful. Not to mention completely unnecessary, right? Like, why do you have to put so much pressure on yourself for this to work out? I feel like we all feel so much pressure to find someone, to find our other half, to settle down, to get married and have families and all of these things. But that's not necessarily the path that's meant for everyone, in my opinion. And I feel like far too many people are made to feel bad if they don't go down that route that's considered like the traditional way of doing things. And so all that pressure to find someone, to be with someone, anyone, get the ring, like, it's not necessary. I feel like dating should be fun, you know? It should be an opportunity to meet people and get to know them better and to get to know yourself better and to just enjoy yourself, to discover more about what you like and don't like, to experiment and try some new things, hopefully safely, but hey, no judgment, do you, right? But I get it, you know, for some of us the biological clock might be ticking and we might feel like, girl, I just turned 30, like he better come along if we don't have this family before the fertility starts to change. Like, I get it. Unfortunately, some of us might want to start looking at other options, right? Considering our other possibilities and try to ignore that ticking clock, because rushing into finding a life partner for that sake might not be the best move. Just saying. Again, no judgment. Or even if it's just a need for companionship and closeness and intimacy with someone and all of that, I get it too. That's very necessary and we need that. It can be hard to go without that for a long time. So I totally understand why there can feel like a lot of pressure to get someone and hold on to them so that we never lose that. But I feel like that pressure and that fear of losing someone or not finding someone is often what leaves so many of us seeming desperate or feeling desperate or being desperate. And especially if we're talking about confidence while dating, there's nothing confident about desperation from anyone at any time, at any like there's nothing that someone would perceive as confidence in desperation. Like even the whole thirsty thing, right? Like that whole new term, it's not really new, I'm just old, but the whole concept of being thirsty is like it's an undesirable trait for someone to come off as being desperate or as trying too hard. And so when we put so much pressure on ourselves, that's sometimes what ends up coming off to other people, even if we don't see it or even if we don't mean to. So although it's much easier said than done, try to take the pressure off, relax, get out of your head, enjoy the moment, be present, just soak it up, right? You feeling sure about yourself, you know who you are, you don't have to be self-conscious, you don't have to worry. You can just enjoy the moment, trust your instincts, go with your gut, and like enjoy yourself, right? What's the point if it's not enjoyable? What's the point? Why are we doing it? Why are we dealing with people to stress? That's not the purpose. I swear that's not how it's supposed to be. Just saying. My next tip would be to take your time and not rush. Okay, plane, just be rude then. My next tip for being confident while dating would be to take your time and try your damnedest not to rush. Again, with all the pressure that we face, it's natural to feel some kind of clock ticking, something rushing us along, the need to attach to somebody and get your grips on and never let them go, right? Especially with all the situationships that are going on and side chicks and this and that, it's feeling harder and harder to feel connected to people genuinely. And so just try your best not to get so caught up in all of that that you rush into things, or that you rush into feeling things for someone, or that you get in over your head too quickly, or jump in head first into the first relationship. As nice as it is to feel things for someone, especially like that new honeymoon phase of meeting someone and enjoying their company, maybe try not to get too attached too quickly. Feel your feelings, get your butterflies and stuff, that's all good and fine, and it's fun to daydream and oh my gosh, they're so amazing right now. But let's also be sure that our mind is still active and paying attention, right? Like, keep your mind sharp. Don't let your heart get carried away with things, because we know probably from experience, a lot of us, that can get you in trouble. You know, if you jump in feet first too quickly and you just get in over your head, or you feel this feeling of attachment towards someone who is not necessarily trying to be attached to you, right? Just me, I'm the only one who's ever been there. That's cool, that's fine. It's fine. So yeah, take your time and pay attention. I actually started, this is a little embarrassing, but I'm gonna admit it to you because we cool, right? Okay, just don't tell nobody. I started keeping this list when I met a guy, when I meet a guy who's trying to pursue me romantically. When different things come up that are problematic, or if he says something that I'm like, but you know, it's still a little bit too early to have a verdict on him, you know, what I'll do is I'll actually start making a list, right, of said things, along with a list of things that I like about him. So this is my feeble attempt to keep my head on straight when I know that my heart might start getting carried away with things and might start tuning out or ignoring some of the red flags that have come up. And like I said, I know a lot of us have probably been there, where we've seen red flags or we've seen concerning behavior, but we like the person so much, or we care about them so much, or we don't want to give up that feeling yet. And so we start to ignore it a little bit, start to tune it out so that we don't have to deal with it. And then later on, when it blows up in our face, we're like, oh yeah, there were those sides. And so for me, that's one of my ways of keeping things straight, right? Keeping things straight. I'ma like you, I'ma start to feel for you. I'm a compassionate person, so I genuinely feel things for people, and I want the best for people, and I see their struggle, and I hope to put a smile on people's faces and things like that. But at the same time, I can't get too carried away in that, because some people don't necessarily deserve it. I'll put it out there. I'm gonna just say it like that. Some people see that and try to take advantage of that, which I've had to learn the hard way. And so to keep myself straight, I have my list. You know, if these things come up, or if I start to forget, I'm able to remind myself, and then I can actually address it with them later on. Like,
so I was thinking, like, we talked about this thing and you said this thing and I was like, what? So could we dive a little deeper so I can understand if I should run away from you?
Because sometimes I feel like it's necessary to have a deeper conversation about some of the things on that list, but maybe it's just not the right time. So that I don't forget to address these points of concern, right? They go on the list, and it helps me to not lose my grip. Okay. The next tip would be to practice. If you want to feel confident in your ability to do anything in life, basically, the key is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. If you're not good at something, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, if it makes you feel awkward or strange or weird, if it's outside of your comfort zone, the key is to practice. It might feel unnatural at first. It may not feel authentic at first. It may feel like you're faking it at first, right? Because it's not something that you're accustomed to doing. But the more that you practice something, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you feel doing it, the more that you start to trust yourself naturally, you know, and start to trust your ability to do that thing. One of the things that was a struggle for me with dating is that I used to be petrified of speaking to men. petrified. Didn't matter if I was romantically interested in them or not. I was just so self-conscious, always worried about something about myself or how I was being perceived, that I just could not get out of my head. And it made me worry so much about talking mainly to men, also sometimes to people, really. But especially in that kind of context of like dating or what have you. Petrified. And what made it worse, also embarrassing, is that I also very much wanted to be approached by someone, right? I wanted validation from a man. I wanted attention. I wanted to feel desired by someone. But couple that with the fact that I felt petrified about talking to them. Yeah, what would happen is that if a guy did try to talk to me, I'd feel so awkward and unsure about what to do, what to say, and how it would go, that I'd pretty much shut him down right away. Yeah, your girl's damaged. I'll accept that. I admit it. So here I am, hoping that someone would talk to me. Then when they talk to me, I'm so insecure and just self-conscious that I would shut him down completely. He's like, hey girl, what's your name? And I'm like, I don't have a name. Bye. I wasn't trying to be mean or rude. I was the issue. The issue was me at the time, right? So for me, what helped was practicing, you know, talking to people, not just men, but people, period. Getting more comfortable speaking to people, feeling more sure in my ability to communicate my thoughts without stumbling or fumbling or feeling worried about being perceived a certain way by them, you know? So practice, 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 practice. Whatever the thing may be for you, the more you practice it, the more comfortable you're gonna feel, the easier it's gonna become over time, and the less of an issue that thing's gonna be moving forward. If it has to do with communication, practice that. If it's something physical, a movement, action, something else that's adult-like, right? Practice, research, you know, do your homework. Figure these things out so that when the time comes, you'll feel more comfortable in these situations. I had a friend tell me the other day, I forget what the conversation was about, but there was this concept of like girls that you wanna date and then girls that you practice with. The girls that you practice with are the ones that help you to become more comfortable and that help to prepare you for the girl that you actually are looking to pursue, or whatever the case is. And it kind of rubs me the wrong way, right? Because I don't like the idea of like using people for certain purposes, but the concept is interesting. Practice until you get to the point where you feel like you're ready. Practice till you feel like you can go get what you want, and then nobody can stop you, right? Because then you sure about it. You know what you want, and you know how to get it, right? Right. And my last tip is to not be afraid to experience things. Unfortunately, not all the things that we're gonna deal with and go through in our life or dating life or whatever are gonna be positive things. They're not all gonna be happy. However, there can be a lot of value that we get out of the bad time. So I'm not saying, of course, like chase down bad situations, not saying that. But if you do happen to go through something that's negative or that's heartbreaking or that just not ideal, which I know that we all have, try to find the lessons in that. Try to find a way to make that something that was a worthwhile experience versus something that's just a bad story from your past. So for me, each time I would sit by the phone waiting for some guy to call, like he said he would days ago, as heartbreaking as it was to feel forgotten, to feel disregarded, to feel like I wasn't a priority, you know, to feel like I wasn't worth the 5 minutes to call or the minute to text and say he was too busy to call or whatever it was. And then of course add that to the fact that I was already self-conscious and that I already had low self-esteem and I already doubted myself and my abilities and my self-worth in so many ways. Then that was like a ton of bricks on top of me too, where I'm like,
did I do something? Did I say something? Did I mess this up? Does he not like me? Am I just not?
It's such a sad feeling, y'all. And it was in going through that low point, having those really low feelings, that helped me to discover more about myself, more about what I need, more about what I want, more about what I'm not willing to tolerate, okay? It helped me discover how important consistency is to me and how much I value someone's word and my ability to trust them, their reliability. Ooh, and I've been thinking about making a video about my like dating deal breakers, the things that are non-negotiables that are on like my list or whatever. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. But basically, the more experiences you have, the more opportunities you have to learn, you know, about yourself, about others, about men or women or whoever you're interested in and how they operate and what they do and say and what they really mean when they say a certain thing. It's complicated, y'all. I know it's complicated, but the more you do it, the more you learn. So I recently started watching this show, right? And I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And I'm not caught up, so I don't want you spoiling it for me neither, okay? And the main character goes to her guy friend's house goes for like an afternoon quickie. She leaves work, rushes over there, they do it, then she's got to get back to work, and right as they're finishing, his roommates come home. So the guy friend asks her to leave out the back way, which we can tell is not the first time he's asked her to do that, and it's so that he doesn't have to explain his love life to his guys or whatever the case is. So you can tell it makes her feel uneasy, like she doesn't like the idea, but she reluctantly agrees to it because she's trying to be easygoing, you know, carefree about it, not make a big deal. But on the way out the back fence, she literally has to climb over a little fence. There's like twigs and branches, and she's wearing like a dress or something, I think. Like, it just reminded me of those times when I would agree to some guy's request for whatever it was, and you know, it might have been somewhat demeaning or just something that gave me an icky feeling, but for the sake of showing how easygoing and low maintenance I am and carefree, I do it even though I was the one left feeling icky, right? Like, so anyway, unfortunately, some of us go through those kinds of things to learn these lessons. All of us don't have to, of course. I'm not saying go through icky stuff just to learn, but at the same time, if you've been there, if you've been through things that have made you feel feelings that you don't like or that you don't care to revisit, maybe explore why, and that'll help you gain a better understanding of you and what you truly want. So yeah, those are my tips. If you are looking to be more confident, to feel more sure of yourself, to feel more comfortable in dating relationships and in scenarios with people that you're romantically interested in, these are the things that I would say will get you started. Like, this is your biggest head start, and then you just jump right in, you just like get in there. So if you enjoyed this video, or if you feel like you learned something new, please do the thumbs up thing. I'd really appreciate it. Also, do leave a comment letting me know what you think. I have been asked about this topic quite a few times, so I'm so curious to know, are you planning on trying any of these things? Do you think this will be helpful? Do you think this is what you need? Also, if there's anything else that you want me to talk about, any other videos that you hope I should make, any other videos that you'd like me to make, any other topics that we need to discuss, let me know. Happy to help, happy to contribute, you know, let you know my knowledge or whatever. Just because I learned it the hard way doesn't mean that you have to. So if there's anything I can share, any value that I can bring to your life, let me know. Go ahead and subscribe for more videos like this, because this is a continuing conversation. We got a lot more to talk about, so be sure to come back for those, and I do hope I'll see you on my next video. Bye. We just had brunch and we had mimosas, so if I get a little goofy, don't mind me. Love is fine, and it'll take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find. Bye. 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 Okay, all right.